So in this video, we're going to discuss what happens now that you have joined LARP interview server, you've gotten through the application process or interview, whichever one we're doing at the moment. And we're just going to cover what to expect with that as far as how we do our training, how we announce our role play sessions, things of that nature. So in a previous video, how to repair LEO vehicles, I cover how to acquire your police car and how to repair it. So if you are planning to be law enforcement officer, please go watch that video so that you know how to do that. We do expect all of our LEO officers to have a high standard for their vehicle. We don't want you running around with busted windows and crushed up fenders and hoods and stuff. So as you can see right here on the screen, we don't have any scratches or dents, anything of that nature. Also, this is not our uniform that we actually use. This is just one that I have currently. All departments have their uniform and vehicle structures listed in the channels. By the way, in the Discord server, I go by the name of Larry, so if you want to contact me once you get in there, I can help you get set up. One of our founders, Bradford, his name in the Discord sometimes shows up as Hondo. Both of those accounts are the same person, so you can contact either one of those. We've got several members that can help you out, so just try to look for a founder, co-founder, a BOD. Any of us could help you out. So let's get into what to expect. If you're going to train as LEO, you will need to grab yourself a vehicle, which I have already done, and then you'll want to come to Sandy Airstrip. This is where we do most of our training for LEO and civilian. And line your car up like I have here at the end of the runway. And all of your trainers and staff members, higher ups, will have their vehicles lined up like this, and they will give you a brief introduction of what we're training for, how the training's going to go, things of that nature. So after that's all done, they'll typically inspect your vehicle, make sure that it's in good repair. They'll inspect your uniform to make sure that it's within the standards that we have set. Another thing that they're going to want to check are your weapons, your pistol, your stun gun. If you do not have a stun gun, your flare gun is a good substitute. We also have different rifles that we use. I believe we use the carbine rifle, and then the bullpup shotgun. Sniper rifles you will not use as an LEO unless you are on SWAT, and you of course have to have special SWAT training for that, and the role will be added at that point. So after we do all of our inspections and make sure that everything is in order, you'll be given instructions by your trainers as to what we're going to do. And typically we're going to do a typical traffic stop. We're going to do a officer involved shooting to cover the rules of engagement, how you have to handle that so that everybody is perfectly clear, and we will go over that with our civilians as well, how to react to traffic stops, how to react to shootings, and we'll get a high-speed chase as well with the training to make sure that you know how to do your call-outs of the roads, how to do your request for pit maneuvers, things like that. We'll cover your Miranda rights and everything. But before we get started, you're going to want to come in here to settings, go down to display, and on your radar, you're going to need to shut that off. In a real life situation, yes, we are aware GPS does exist, but your GPS is not going to show the exact location of every single person within that city. So we do shut that off. Now, some higher up members do have permissions to use their map, and this is for monitoring purposes to ensure that everybody's following the rules, and it helps cut down on failed RP and stuff of that nature. It lets us see if somebody's using like an Oppressor Mark II, for example. We do not allow that. We don't allow any weaponized vehicles whatsoever, at least not that I'm aware of. Maybe in a special event we'll allow something like that. If we happen to have a military event, we might allow some minor aircraft to be on the map, but right now we're not doing anything like that, so don't expect to come in with weaponized vehicles. And that's why some of our members are permitted to use a map, just to make sure that everybody's having a good time and nobody's breaking the rules and causing a big problem. Another factor that we do in line with that, go into your online, your options, your player overhead display to none. Again, some of our moderators are permitted to do that one there, the name. And this is so that we can identify who you are. And that will allow us, if there's a problem with a member, we can see the name, the gamer tag above their head, identify who they are, and we can talk to them about that. The way that we try to handle discipline is one-on-one. I personally will never call you out in front of the whole class. I will pull you off to the side and have a chat with you. It's nobody else's business what we're discussing. It's between myself and the individual. May or may not have broken a rule. Maybe we just need to discuss something. Just because I call you into my office does not necessarily mean that you are in trouble. I could simply be congratulating you on a scene or something of that nature. So don't think for a second that every time somebody wants to have a conversation with you in private, don't think that that automatically means that you're in trouble. We do acknowledge people who are performing well, and all of our staff members, our higher ups, are very involved. We had somebody that was on a leave of absence, and they touched base with me while they were on a leave of absence, so you're never going to be alone. If you have questions, we're here for you for that. If you have any doubts on what to do, role play it out to the best of your ability, or contact the supervisor of your department to have them advise you on what to do, but do your best to stay within your role as you're trying to sort through it. We are very understanding. Sometimes things do happen, but our goal is we don't want to have to pause RP to handle a situation. That's not very fun for anybody. So let's get into a little bit of detail of what you can expect. So after we have our little training briefing, typically what I like to do is have the law enforcement officer come sit over here, and just for the sake of, so you guys know where we're at on the map, we're at Sandy Shores up here. And I will have the LEO officer will be in this cutoff, and our trainer will be in a standard civilian vehicle. And what they're going to do is they're going to come flying past you through here, and you're going to go pull them over So you're going to use your call sign. Let's just say I'm 101, for example. So I'll say 101 to dispatch. Dispatch, go ahead. And then you will tell them that I believe it's 1011. I got to get refreshed on my codes. You'll put on your lights and sirens. You'll get up behind them like so. And then when they pull over, you'll pull over. First thing that you're going to want to do, I'm going to turn off the sirens so that it's easier to hear, but you'll leave them on. First thing that you're going to do is go into first person view, get their license plate, run that through our CAD system, make sure that the registration, insurance, everything is up to where it should be. It should tell you who the car belongs to as well, but never assume that just because it's registered to that person that that's who it is. So we'll pretend that there's a car here, and then I'll come up and, do you understand why I've pulled you over? Most of the time, no, I don't understand. And then you explain to them, well, you're on an active runway, you're speeding, whatever the case may be. In this situation, they are on an active runway, we can't be having that. You explain that to them, ask for their license and registration, things of that nature. You'll get back into your police car, which I'm not going to do because then the sirens will be going off and you won't be able to hear me that well. So from there, what we're going to do, you're going to go back into your CAD. You're going to run the registration that they gave you. Now, when you ask for their license and registration, they're going to just, simulate giving it to you by telling you what their name is. If they don't, then you ask what their name is. Some of them will get a little short with you and be like, well, you have it right there, blah, blah, But in order to make the RP work, you got to tell them what your name is so they can run it through the computer. Yes, obviously it's on your driver's license, but this, we can't physically see what your driver's license says, so you have to tell us what your name is. We'll run it. Make sure you don't have any warrants or anything of that nature, things, stuff like that. Basic police work. And then what you're going to do, you're going to monitor the in-game chat, because they could sit there and be typing in the in-game chat saying, car smells like weed, slurred speech, things that would indicate that you may want to pull the individual out of the car and give them a sobriety test. Maybe you need to search their vehicle, which you'll want to call, I believe that's a 1032 backup. Anytime you search a vehicle, you want to call backup. 2 reasons. They could be armed. You don't know. You haven't searched them yet. Secondly, you need a witness to make sure and verify that you conducted your search properly and legally. If you do determine that they have something illegal on them, you have the option to, probably not an option, you should probably arrest them. And what you'll need to do after you cuff them, make sure you pat them down first, so that you know that they don't have anything illegal on them. And you ask them, do you have anything illegal on you? Any drugs, guns that I need to know about? Anything that's going to poke me, stick me, hand grenades, tanks, anything of that nature? I like to add a little bit of humor in it. We're all human. Obviously, they don't have a tank in their pocket. But, hey, it lightens the mood, right? And that's what we want. We want people to be comfortable. So, you pat them down. Let's say you find a handgun. It's not registered. So you'll have to get into the front of your car so that they can get into the back of the car. But before you do that, if they are under arrest, you have to inform them they are under arrest and read them their Miranda rights. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be held against you in the court of law. You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you. Do you understand these rights, and do you wish to speak to me? And of course, they have the option to remain silent or speak to you. If they do decide to speak to you, then you can ask them, why didn't you tell me about this gun that you had? Is it registered? Do your investigation. And then you get into the front of your cruiser so that they can get into the back, and then you'll transport them to the nearest jail, which for us it's over that way. There's a tower off in the distance. I don't know if it's going to show up, but it's off that way. That's the closest jail. So let me take you over there. High-speed pursuits and stuff like that work pretty similar, but you're going to give call-outs. You can push down on the D-pad to find out. And this is console, by the way. This is a console RP, PlayStation, and Xbox. I just heard a phone ring. It got me kind of distracted. So,
hey,
let's just say I've got you in custody. We're taking you over to the jail. So now we're moving from LEO to civilian type training here. So let's say that you're a civilian. I've just arrested you, read you your rights. What I'm going to do as an LEO, I'm going to go into the CAD, write up your tickets, and then within the RP, I'm going to give you your tickets and explain them to you, have you sign it, let you know it's not an admission of guilt, it's just an acknowledgement that you're going to show up in court. And so what I'll do is I'll type it in that I get you out of the car, we arrive at the station, and based on the crimes that you have committed and what you were cited with, you will stand at this door or whichever door the officer designates for you to stand at. And based on the severity of your crimes, you're going to be there for, it could be 2 minutes, it could be 5 minutes. Just really depends on what the crime is for. So let's move into a little more about what to expect if you're a civilian. And this is just going to be real brief, as brief as possible, just to get you an idea of what you're going to expect as far as your training goes. So I'm going to call me a vehicle in real quick. Vehicles, we do have limitations on...
I'm on the clock. What you want? Some wheels?
The upgrades that you're allowed.
I'll get there as soon as I can.
Refresh myself on what those are, so that way I'm not telling you false information on what those are. I don't have it memorized. I'm going to turn my radar back on. This is not an RP, this is just a explanation video, so I will turn that back on. So you'll get your vehicle, and again, you're going to meet just like you would for LEO. You'll meet over here. You'll get lined up. Now, in a previous RP server, we just did the civilian training in a voice channel. I don't like that. Personally, I think that's ridiculous to do something through voice. I believe in one-on-one training. Now, what I would like to do, I need to talk to some of my higher-ups about this actually. I would like to try to get the civilians and the LEO together and do the training together, because if you're a civilian, you can be trained at the same time that we're training the LEO. I mean, why not? It would be simple. We get twice as many members trained and ready to enter the RP all in one shot. It just makes sense to me to do it that way. So I'm going to discuss that with some of my bosses and find out what they think about that. You guys can let me know what you think about that in the comments as well, or if you get into the server, put it into the server suggestions. That would be cool too. But what we're going to do is we're going to have you, it's the same thing as the LEO, but now you're the civilian. We're going to have you come speeding through here. You get pulled over. Okay, so now you're going to have your interaction with the police officer. They may ask for you to roll down your window. So to roll down your window, just aim your weapon and then point it out the side there. It breaks your window. But that's how we RP, that's how we role play, rolling down your window. I have some pretty dark tint on this vehicle, so I would be asked to do that. So, but then you'll give them your information. They'll run it. They'll come back, decide if they're going to ticket you or give you a warning. As you can see, and you're probably familiar with in Grand Theft Auto, all of your vehicles have license plates that are different. In our CAD system, you'll set up your character as a civilian or whatever role you are, you'll set up your character. And then your personal vehicles, you're going to set up your registration with the actual plate number that you are using in the game. That way we can track if you've been cited for something. We can look up your tickets, we can look up your driving record, things of that nature, just like real life. So let me go into a garage. Of course I would go the wrong direction. That's another thing, if you guys need assistance on learning the map without the map. I'm more than happy to work with you. Again, in the Discord, I am Larry. So once you get in there, there will be a link in the description, by the way, that will take you to our interview server. Feel free to send me a message. I would be more than happy to get online with you. I am on PlayStation, by the way. I'd be more than happy to get online with you and just help you familiarize yourself with the area that we are typically holding our role-playing sessions. Generally, we're going to be up here in the Sandy Shores area. Sometimes, if we have a smaller amount of members, we'll go up to, what the heck's it called, Paleto Bay. Very seldom do we have one down in the city. If we get enough members, we will do it down in the city. Get out of here, cat. My cat's being annoying right now. Give me a second. Okay, anyway. We're going to repair the vehicle. Armor. None. Brakes. I don't really think the brakes are going to make a difference. Bumpers. Whatever you want. That's cosmetic. Engine. I don't, as you can see, I don't have any right now. I think it's level 1 or 2, but don't hold me to it. I need to go back over that. If we don't have that in our Discord, the vehicle standards for the tuning, I am going to make sure that that's taken care of today. Because if it's in there, I'm not sure where it's at, but I'm going to make sure that it's there and that you can find it. Exhaust. I think that's basically cosmetic, so we're probably not going to worry about that too much. Explosives, absolutely not. grill, hood, horn, lights, anything that you want, livery, anything that you want, loss and theft prevention, yeah, whatever you want. Your plate, whatever color you want. If you have custom plates, you can use that too, but just a reminder, register that with the CAD system. Collar, your collar needs to match what you have in the registration. Roll cage. Roll cage, I feel, is cosmetic. That's okay with me. Again, I need to check our standards. Side skirts, spoilers, should all be fine. Suspension, you're not going to be going off-road in this car. You don't need it. Again, I will stress, you do not need it. Now, if you have a off-road vehicle, we can discuss possibly what suspension you're allowed. Transmission, I have a sports transmission. I do believe that may actually be higher than what's allowed. I think stock or street may be where the limit's at. Again, I need to check on that stuff. I'm not going to give you guys false information. Turbo, no. Absolutely not. That I'm pretty sure of. Wheels are fine. Whatever wheel type you want. But wheel color, yeah, whatever. Tires. Tire design's fine. Tire smoke is fine. Bulletproof tires, I have them. Are they allowed? No. Absolutely not. Window tint can be whatever you want, but as stated before, if you've got the limo tent like I have, you will be asked to roll down your window. Again, just break it out. So that's what I know for sure. Yeah, I did say go over the armor. But that's what I sure. Again, don't hold me to it. I need to get refreshed on it myself. When I RP as a civilian, I use bone stock everything. The reason, let me go over the reason for you. We are using standard LEO vehicles. We can't modify them. So if you come in here and you got a fully modified vehicle, we're not going to keep up with you, and that's just not fair for everybody. We try to keep things fair across the board. Supercars, let's discuss those. Supercars, even bone stock, they are outstandingly fast, even being bone stock. So there are some rules as a civilian with those. You cannot run from the police at all in your supercar. The reason for that is, again, we cannot keep up with you. Okay, so maybe we should get a faster police car, right? Wrong. Absolutely wrong on that assumption. We aim for realism. So therefore, we use marked vehicles. We do have some unmarked vehicles, but we use the ones that, like the unmarked Buffalo and unmarked Granger.
Hey!
And they do have lights and sirens. SWAT vehicle for LEO officers, not allowed. I will make that very, very clear. Why would you respond to a call in the slowest vehicle that LEO has to offer? Now, we do use that vehicle for our SWAT. So I'm just gonna parachute over here and show you exactly the vehicle that I am talking about. SWAT use only. I can't be more clear about that. I was in a different RP community. Somebody used it. Now, it was the only police vehicle available. Nobody, the moderators did not say anything to prevent them from using it. There was a lot of confusion. I am clearing that up right here, right now. Do not use it unless you are SWAT. So this right here, this is the vehicle that we use for SWAT. I'm going to come over here where it's lit up just a little bit better. And let me show you our SWAT gear. Okay, here's our fire gear for anybody that's wanting to do fire. This is if you're an engineer driving the fire truck. Full turnout gear, similar to what these guys have right here. You'll need to do the casino heist to acquire that. We have members that can help you get through that process. So that's fire gear. Now back to what I was originally doing. I'll show you our SWAT gear. I've got a lot of different. Well, minus that. This is pretty similar to one of our LEO uniforms that we'll use. I have a helmet on there because that would be your Air One, your helicopter pilot. Port Authority, LEO. That would be a subdivision that we have. Here is SWAT. I do not like the helmet. It makes you look like a bug. Ours, this is from, again, from a previous Discord server that I was in, so ours may actually be a little different. So, if you have any questions, training, it can take an hour to get through. We try to get through it as quickly as possible. I know training can be a little bit annoying. Maybe you're coming from a different RP server. You already know what's expected. You know the rules. But everybody, and I mean everybody, must go through some sort of training. I went through training, and our founders, our CEOs, they've all been through training. So it's non-negotiable. You will be trained. The reason behind that, it's not a matter of we don't believe you. It is a matter of if you do something that you're not supposed to do, then because we have trained you, you can't sit there and say, oh, well, I didn't know. That's why we do the training. We want to make sure that everybody is on the same page. You can't just sit back and be like, well, I didn't know about this, I didn't know about that. Two problems with that. If you come at somebody, if you come at me or somebody else and say, hey, I didn't know, yeah, you did. For one, we trained you. For two, if you were not trained on something, then do not do it. Get with somebody so that they can get you the training that you need. There's no excuse for performing an action that you are not trained on and just going with your gut instinct. No excuse whatsoever, will not be tolerated. You need to get a hold of somebody and make sure that you have the proper training. Also, our higher ups, if they do not train you properly, please let somebody know, and we will investigate why they did not train you properly. So these are just some of the things that you should expect now that, assuming that now you are a member of the server, you've gotten through your interview, you're going to go through some training. So, okay, now that you've been trained, what happens now? That's the meaning of this video. What happens now? So, we do roleplay announcements in the main servers. We give you 2 time zones. We have the, oh, forgive me, I don't know what you guys call it in Great Britain. I don't know if you guys consider, is that considered British Standard Time? I don't know. So I apologize for not knowing what you guys call it over there. But we will post in Great Britain's time zone, as well as the American Eastern Standard Time Zone. We will also have a time zone conversion chart. It's very generic. Please keep in mind the chart that we have. It may be set for daylight standard time, and then again it may not. So we will try to make sure that our time zones and conversions and stuff like that are set up so that you can follow it and know exactly when it's going to be. If I am participating myself, about an hour prior to when the RP is expected, which actually it's about that right now for today. If you're watching this video a year from now, obviously it's not going to be today. So I need to cut this video off and go get ready for today's RP if we have one, if we have enough members. Hopefully we do. So what you'll do is in the Discord, you'll get a notification. You'll get what we call pinged, and so go read it. It'll give you a brief explanation. We're going to do an RP. This is the time. This is you'll react with, you're going to be there, you're going to be late, or not at all. Maybe you're unsure. You're going to react with the role. When the RP officially starts, you will be asked to go to a voice channel. Most likely you will not have permission to speak within that voice channel, but it is a general briefing to discuss, hey, we had this issue last time, let's try to clean it up. Hey, let's have a good RP. Hey, just informational. From there, you will go to your corresponding briefing channel, your civilian briefing, your LEO briefing, whatever role you're going to be in, you'll go to that briefing channel. At that time, you're going to start receiving your invite. As you can see, I'm in a friend session right now, so that if any other members happen to be on, they can join in and whatever. But we'll do it in an invite-only session. That way, it's secure as possible. We're not getting a bunch of random people in there messing things up for us. Your friends are more than welcome to join the RP server, but if they are not a member of the RP server, we do not want them in the session until they have been interviewed, trained, and things of that nature. It's for the quality of the RP. It's nothing personal against you or your friends. We just want to ensure that everybody has a safe, fun RP, that we maintain realism and stuff like that. So after you get out of the main briefing, you'll go into your division. Oh, Jesus. I've got a lot of things on my mind, so bear with me, people. We'll get through this. You'll go from the main briefing into your department channel for your briefing, which you will at that time get invitations to the in-game session, invite only, of course. Do not, once you get in there, do not invite somebody to it that is not in the RP server. That is going to be a strike for sure. I understand you want your friends to join you. Go through, do it properly. Don't just be inviting whoever you want. We're not going to negotiate with that. Do it the right way. You know, I don't mean to sound like an asshole, but we have rules in place for a reason. Please follow them. Anybody's welcome. We do have some age restrictions. I'm not going to tell you what our age restriction is because I don't want you to go in there and lie just to get in. Unfortunately, that's just the nature of the beast. It happens. So, no, don't ask me what the age restriction is. I'm not going to tell you. We may make some exceptions. We may not. But the most important thing is we don't want you to about your age just so that you can get in there. Not going to happen. So to prevent that, no, I will not tell you what the age restrictions are. But we're reasonable. We're pretty reasonable. You know, now that I got my asshole moment out of the way, I just want you to know I am a very understanding person. You can ask anybody in the server. Very understanding, very caring, very dedicated. But I can be serious when I have to be. So, once you are in your department channels, you'll go to a designated meetup spot, you'll get your briefing, you'll go through your inspections of your vehicles, your uniforms, things of that nature, and then the RP begins. So, if it sounds like something that you want to get involved with, I'll have a link in the description. It won't be there right away. I'll have to get the link from the Discord and put it in the description, so bear with me. I'll have it up there within 10 minutes of the end of this broadcast. So with that, and without further delay, go ahead, join us in the Discord. We hope to see you there. We wish you the best of luck, and hey, you know, have a good time. And with that, I am going to end this broadcast.